We know nothing of man, far too little. His psyche should be studied.
This is what we have been waiting for. A real-life hack was presented to us by Carl Jung many years ago. How nothing and no one will ever affect you again, no matter what. You must be wondering, how come this is the first time you're hearing about this? Well, stay tuned for the ultimate life hack. Learn how to make your life easier.
All people to live on, to look forward to the next day, as if he had to spend centuries.
Have you ever met someone who stays calm no matter what? And no insults, no breakup drama, not even betrayal can shake their composure? Sounds almost impossible, right? Well, here's the good news. This isn't just a natural gift. It's a skill you can develop and master, and the best part is, it's in your control. Now, pay close attention to what's coming next. Carl Jung famously said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what exactly does he mean? Well, let's break it down. If you read between the lines, the puzzle solves itself. Jung is telling us that our reactions to external events aren't really about the world around us. In fact, they're more about us. What we need to understand is that how we respond to situations reveals our own unresolved fears, insecurities, and wounds. The key takeaway here is that when we learn to master ourselves, nothing, and I mean nothing and no one, can control our emotions. Take Danny, for example, a successful entrepreneur. When his business suffered a major financial loss, everyone expected him to panic, right? But guess what? Instead, he remained calm and focused. Why? Because he had trained himself to detach from external chaos and understood that emotions like fear and anger only cloud judgment. So by embracing this mindset, he rebuilt his company stronger than ever. Indeed, his secret is emotional mastery.
That they have a certain way of presenting themselves. So the persona is partially the result of the demands.
However, Jung's concept of the shadow self explains why people react so strongly to certain situations. You see, the shadow is the part of ourselves we try to hide, the fears, insecurities, and past wounds we refuse to acknowledge. For example, if someone calls you lazy and you get furious, it might be because deep down you fear that you are not hardworking enough. Let's take Oprah Winfrey as an example. She was fired from her first TV job for being unfit for television. Now consider this. She came from poverty, faced abuse, and had every reason to break, but she didn't. But instead, she built a media empire, became one of the most influential women in the world, and proved everyone wrong. Her secret? Resilience made her unstoppable. Now here's the truth. You need one thing, and this is crucial. The key to your success, and that is being completely honest with yourself. As Jung once said, what you resist persists. Think about it. When you desperately want something, approval, success, or even love, you become emotionally vulnerable. But here's the good news. When you let go of expectations and focus only on effort, you free yourself from unnecessary pain.
This is not the real personality, in spite of the fact that people will assure you that that is all quite real and quite honest, yet it is not.
Finally, let's begin your transformation with these essential steps. The first step to becoming untouchable is mastering your emotions. So when something upsets you, ask yourself, why does this bother me? Or why is that being said? In doing so, you'll quickly realize that the insult says more about the person in front of you than it does about you. Moreover, your reaction reveals more about you than the situation itself. For instance, if you're in an argument and someone insults you, take a deep breath and pause to consider whether responding in anger is truly what you need at that moment. Then, detach yourself in a way that signals to the other person that you're not interested in engaging in a fight. Now, here comes the second step. It's about embracing your flaws instead of running from them. You see, the more self-aware you are, the less others can shake you. So recognize that your imperfections are part of who you are, and by accepting them, you open the door to growth. But here's the key. Rather than seeing your weaknesses as failures, you should view them as opportunities to learn and improve. Wondering why? Because when you accept yourself fully, you become less vulnerable to harsh remarks and build a stronger, more authentic version of yourself. In the end, embracing your flaws turns them into stepping stones toward your better future.
Important experiences of their life where they experience their own values. The creative background of their personality.
The third step is learning how to stop worrying about what people think. Now here's the thing. Opinions only have power if you let them. Let's be real. Too many people spend way too much time worrying about what others say or think about them. But the truth is, people will always have something to say, good or bad, whether it's in a face-to-face argument or behind your back. So instead of overanalyzing every little remark, start learning to let it bounce right off you. Shift your focus to your own values and beliefs instead of getting trapped in someone else's opinion about you. And when you do that, you'll not only start seeing real change in your life, but you'll also begin to take control of your emotions. Here's another powerful tip. Learn how to say no to things you'd rather not deal with. That one word can save you a lot of unnecessary stress and pressure. Think about it. Imagine that one annoying coworker who always asks you to do his job for him. You usually say yes because you want to seem helpful or maybe you want him to like you, but next time, just say no. Simple as that. All that extra work you put on yourself will be gone. And of course, not to mention the unnecessary stress that goes with all that.
One could best compare with myth. That's the origin of mythology. Mythology is
The fourth step is letting go of the need to control everything. Instead of obsessing over the outcome, shift your attention to what you can do right now. Why does this matter? Because this step is a major part of becoming mentally untouchable. It's time to stop trying to micromanage every part of your life. Now here's the harsh truth. No matter how much you plan, worry, or try to force fate, life will always have the final say. And the more you try to control everything, the more you invite stress, frustration, and disappointment. So what's the better approach? Focus on what you can control, your effort, your mindset, and your actions. That's where the real power is. Now take a moment and reflect. Have you ever met someone who clings to perfection, only to fall apart the moment things don't go their way? Imagine that kind of mindset, in constant need for control, turns life into a never-ending battle. But there is a good part. When you finally loosen your grip and allow life to unfold in its own surprising ways, everything starts to flow. It stops feeling like a struggle. So maybe it's time to stop gripping the steering wheel so tightly and start trusting the ride a little more. And as Carl reminds us, calming your mind is the first step. The less you try to force life, the more effortlessly things start falling into place.
that is biological, that is not merely statistics. It is the expression.
And now, finally, the fifth step, building real confidence. This is where the magic truly happens. Why? Real confidence doesn't come from pretending to be perfect. It comes from knowing deep down you've got the skills to handle whatever life throws at you. Here's the key. When you focus on growing, learning, and constantly improving, you build a solid foundation that no criticism can shake. And as you invest more in yourself, you'll start to trust your instincts, your abilities, your voice. External opinions won't bother you because your worth is rooted in your own growth and resilience. Perhaps now you can start with any of these steps, but what matters most is that you keep going, because each step builds upon the last, and as you work through them, something powerful starts to happen.
Of your way. You know, the effect was that within a week she was cured from so many years of bad and healthy state. Because
nothing and no one can affect you unless you give them permission. And the real battle is within, so master your mind, understand your triggers, and take your power back, because Jung just showed us the way. However, if you found yourself or someone else in this video, we would love to hear your thoughts. So drop a comment below. Remember, mastering your emotions, embracing your true self, and building inner strength means nothing and no one can shake you. So take action and watch how everything changes.